Bringing people, culture, and generation together is at the core of my practice. In 2012, I painted the minaret of Jara Mosque in Gabes, in south of Tunisia, my hometown. The mosque was built in '94, and for 18 years it was never painted. For the minaret, I decided to use a verse from Quran. It was a universal call for peace and acceptance at a time where some social tension were rising in Tunisia right after the revolution. I was listening to those conversations. It was interesting to see how people were debating about politics, religion, economy, and the place of public art. So the minaret became this kind of stage where anybody can come and express their opinion. I realized that this project paved my path artistically in a certain way. I've reflected a lot on the verse that I painted on the minaret. And the part that says, "We have made you people and tribes so you may know each other," was for me an invitation to discover other people, discover other culture. So this was the starting point of a project called Lost World. So the project was a 1-month road trip all around Tunisia, going from one city to another one, trying to tell the story of places that has been forgotten, hearing the people telling their own story and then translate it into words. I met the Bedouin of Douz, I met the fishermen of Qarqina, the Amazigh, the Berber of Gelala, I met the Jewish community of Harriyat. For me, this whole project was about celebrating diversity. The inspiration behind this art piece was the biblical story of Tower of Babel. As you may know, humans at some point wanted to build a tower to reach God. And God cursed them by making them speak different languages, so they couldn't understand each other, so they stopped building this tower and they spread around the world. And this is actually the birth of languages. Toronto is a total different story. Actually, it's the opposite. It's people who speak different languages that reach one place where they speak English, and then they don't build a tower to reach God, but they build a society. So I created actually a kind of tower that I call the Mirror of Babel, that celebrate this diversity, the diversity of Toronto, the diversity of Canada, and paying an homage to a Mohawk artist by using her poetry. As an artist, I think sometimes that I'm invested by a mission, thinking that I can bring people together no matter what, no matter where they're from. So this utopic way of seeing the world pushed me to create an art piece on the DMZ between North and South Korea a few years ago. The idea was to create a bridge. Usually when you create a bridge, you build it from both sides until you meet in the middle. But at some point, in South Korea, they told me that we cannot build a bridge for security reasons. So they told me the only place you could use would be the fence. I met this woman who told me her story, that before the separation, her husband came to South Korea to work, and then when the war happened, the border was created, he was not capable to go back to his family. He had 2 girls and his wife there that he never saw again. And she was telling me that every Sunday she go to the church and she prayed that one day she would see North and South Korea reunited. As humans, we have this tendency of judging people without knowing them. We have this misconception that we build in our mind based on what we can hear or see about them, without really taking the time to learn. I realized that North Koreans, they have dreams, hopes, fears, like all of us. Most of the time, I don't want my piece to disappear. But this piece on the DMZ between North and South Korea, deep inside, I really hope that one day it will be removed, and which means that the border will be erased and that North and South Korea will be reunited.